Hello everyone and welcome. It's Crystal here and I'm just checking all the settings because I know we are streaming live to Facebook. So let's go and check that in case any of you are joining me live in the Facebook group. Yes, here I am. Wonderful. So welcome again to day one of the Galactic Embodiment Challenge. This morning I was using an old Zoom version, which meant that by the time the recording was downloaded, I couldn't convert it even after updating. So here I am again doing this one more time. I understand that everything happens for a reason, everything happens with purpose, and I feel that this morning or this afternoon in Melbourne, I actually felt quite disconnected in some way because I had it on speaker view, which meant I was only able to see one person and tiny little dots across with other people, but there was only ever 2 or 3 I could see. And so I just couldn't get the whole feeling of everyone in the room, which made me feel slightly disconnected. So this is something that I have to practice or get smart about, how I can see everyone whilst also doing the recording with just being seen. Anyway, welcome to day one again. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Krystal Alexander-Hille. I'm a Tantra expert, a spiritual mentor, and my latest title that I'm choosing to call myself is I'm a divine feminine leader. That's what I call myself as well. There's so many titles you can play with, but the latest one I'm really resonating with is a Galactic Embodiment Coach, which is really the title of this challenge as well. So if you're live here, just say hello. I know there's a little bit of a lag because I'm recording this on Zoom. So you're getting the opportunity to join the challenge live right now. What this galactic embodiment is something that dropped in for me as a result of this COVID-19 situation. I realized that I'd only been focusing on one area of my passion and left a whole other area of my soul work out of the equation. You know, I enjoy running the Temple of Conscious Eroticism. I enjoy working with couples. I enjoy assisting women to releasing shame and really coming into, into their sexual empowerment, into their sovereignty. And then there's all this other work that I do behind the scenes. You know, I talk with star racers and I work with them. They seem to be coming to me to assist this oneness, this unification that is coming onto the planet to assist with that. And I really wanted to bring that into my work as well. I didn't want to leave that out. I didn't want to leave the galactic aspect of myself out. So this is how this galactic challenge, this galactic embodiment challenge has been birthed. Because what I've realized is that there are 2 types of people, or 2 extremes within each of us. And the one is the wounded feminine. She is both in men and women, just as the wounded masculine is. And so the wounded feminine, for me, I've noticed, is the empaths, the healers, those who are easily connecting up into the higher dimensions, but they're finding it hard sometimes to stay in the body, which means that they can get bullied and they just disappear. They pretend not to be there. Always floating above, and it means that there's an inability to hold anything in the physical container, be that a job, be that success, financial abundance, any type of abundance. It's just all kind of just floating. And so it's lacking, the embodiment aspect, because for many it doesn't feel safe. And I've done this for many years, so I know this pattern very well. On the other side, we have the wounded masculine, and that is the way society is operating by and large. That's what we've inherited by patriarchy. Okay, so it's that place where we get an idea and we're just going for it, no matter what. We put our blinkers on, we take our emotions aside, and we go. We go, go, go. It means that we don't allow spaciousness for synchronicities to arise. We're not really in communication and in connection with our guidance. We're in fight or flight, potentially even freeze mode. So here are two extremes, neither of which create abundance, neither of which create ease, flow, or grace in our lives. And so we must now, at this time, integrate them in order to come into a more functional harmony within ourselves. And this is where the embodiment comes in, and the divine, like all sort of just coming together. And to me, it feels, especially as conscious leaders, that we are here to be embodied, be in our bodies, be fully present, and have our erotic, sensual life force energy activated. Now, if you're new to my community, you know that, or if you've already been there, you understand and are aware of this sexual energy is life force energy. It's not just the energy with which we birth babies, but it's also the energy with which we can get creative ideas and birth visions and projects. And to shame that and to shut that away means that we are depriving ourselves of the fullness of our creative power. We are depriving ourselves of being a creator of our own lives to the fullest extent possible. So I see our physical body and the erotic energy as the vessel and the vehicle that we can use to, as the erotic energy that we can use to kind of clean our vehicle, to keep it in the best possible shape, so that we can then bring our divinity, our multidimensional self into this expanded physical presence, so that we can hold it. Because sometimes it can, if it is too much, it can short circuit us. It can make, you've probably been in a meditation, you came out and you felt dizzy. I know I have, and it's because we're not enough grounded in our body. So this physical embodiment piece is really important to avoid that, and just coming into that inner union. And I always talk about as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Everything is interconnected. Everything is part of the oneness. And it just depends on from what perspective we are looking at reality, at life. And so today I want to talk you through the dimensions of my awareness and my framework of what the dimensions are, and then also give you an embodiment experience to shifting your conscious awareness through the dimensions, and then a challenge for you to maintain up to the next time you watch the next video. Okay, so let's talk about the dimensions. You can imagine, like, one thing is really, really important. I had a mentor a couple of years ago, and she said, Krystal, you've got to stop traveling the universe at night, because you wake up and you're exhausted. You've got spiritual jet lag. It is incredibly exhausting for our soul, for our being, to adjust to all of the different frequencies that are in the different dimensions. So she said, you must just remember that everything is right here in this moment, in this present reality. And it's like a babushka doll. Those Russian dolls where you've got the tiny one in the middle, and then another shell and another shell and another shell, so until you've got this whole family, one inside of the other. And that's how it really is with the dimensions. You have the third dimensional reality is the smallest, where there's the most density. And it's like the individual cells of our body have consciousness, and our ego and they're governed by, hang on, individual cells of consciousness, and they're governed by our higher mind. And we understand and know that our cells have different consciousness because they can do their own thing. Like when we have cancer, for example, they're stopping to work with the team, they're stopping to work in harmony with the wholeness, doing their own thing. And then it's to bring something dysfunctional within our emotions to our awareness, or often, of course, it is inherited but the emotional patterns are inherited as well. So third dimensional reality, we have an ego, we have an understanding of our identity, and that is how it is. When we leave our physical body, we move into the fourth dimension, which I call also the fear dimension. It's like what the what's it called? What the Christians would call hell. Here we have removed ourselves from our body, but we're still attached to our energy, to our emotions. We're looking down, you know, when ghosts don't leave houses, because they're attached to what happened in the house. They can't just go back into the universe and where they came from. There's an attachment to emotions. And once that can be released, we can move up into the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is where we have the Pleiadians and the Sirians. Now, the Pleiadian star race is that of the divine feminine. They are operating as life force energy. There's a lot of Pleiadians in this universe on planet Earth at the moment, incarnated in human bodies. They're here to bring the oneness, consciousness in, really. They're here to share love and light. And they believe that love and light are the cure and the medicine for everything. Then we have the Sirians, who are embodying the divine masculine. And they bring logic, they bring direction, they bring, this really even leveled way of thinking that is so needed in order to manifest things in the world. So together, they are part of the Lyran race. And tomorrow I'll share a little bit more about the Lyran War, which is a little bit like Star Wars. So in the fifth dimension, there is cluster consciousness, there is hive mentality. So the governing body is the consciousness of the hive, the group, and the individual beings are like the individual cells in the body. Once we then move into sixth dimension, we still haven't let go of the belief structures of that fifth dimension, but we're on our way. We've removed ourselves from there. Moving into seventh dimension is where we now have our consciousness is now expanded into stellar consciousness, into the consciousness of the sun. So we know of the central sun, of the great sun. The Egyptians called it Ra. And so they believe that the governing body is the central sun, and the individual races that are in that solar system are like on the third dimension, the cells in our body. So where am I going? Here is the belief also that structure is consciousness and consciousness is structure. So we're understanding the different shapes are all part of consciousness. Sacred geometry comes in here, comes into play. And there's this correlation between structure and consciousness. Structure meaning the different races, the different identities being structure. Then we move beyond that. There is still an attachment to the belief that the sun is the central governing system. But when we move into the 11th dimension, we understand that everything is consciousness. The structure is dissolved. There's no kind of governing body. It just all is consciousness. And beyond that is oneness. Beyond that is source energy. Beyond that is the void, from where we can create anything that we choose to create. So this is just a brief overview of my understanding of the dimensions. I know that there are many, many frameworks, many thoughts. I know of a framework where there are 64 dimensions, 12 dimensions, and each person will have a slightly different understanding of these dimensions because everyone has their own truth. Neither one is right or wrong. They're all just serving purpose. You know, this is one thing that I've come to understand, that there is no right or wrong, there is no good or bad. Everything serves purpose. And it is up to us to understand what is my purpose, what's in alignment with my purpose, which beliefs, which truth serves me on my path moving forward. And this is where discernment comes in, and this is where we really need to step into our leadership. So what does it mean to be a conscious leader? You know, I'm saying this is a galactic embodiment challenge for conscious leaders, healers, light workers, star seeds, men and women in business dedicated to stepping into this new earth that is being created at this time. And tomorrow I'll be sharing with you a little bit more about my understanding of where we're at in terms of the human evolution and what we can do to release our shadow to really step into that. And I know this is all at the moment still quite conceptual and theoretical, without many tools of how do we release the shadow? How do we actually come into a full acceptance of those different aspects within us, especially when they are dysfunctional, when they're angry, when they're afraid, when there's shame? How do we bring it all together? And this is work that kind of goes beyond the scope of this challenge, but I have, of course, many other offers should you wish to work with me further on this, and I'll give you an opportunity to do so a little later in the challenge as well. So, what does it mean to be a conscious leader? What is that, and what is our purpose right now? You know, I was reflecting on this concept of being a conscious leader, of being a leader, which by definition means that there have to be followers. And so who's defining that you're a leader of a community, of your own life? I feel for me, the definition of being a leader is to be sovereign. And so being a sovereign being means to make decisions that are in freedom, decisions that are coming from within, where we can listen to external ideas, but ultimately we need to check into our own reference system with our own guidance. How is this resonating with me? Does this feel good? Is there ease around this? Does this resonate? And we can walk alongside a leader to learn their skills of how do they do that, but then ultimately walk our own path. Leaders amongst leaders, waking up to their sovereign self, to live from that place where we are not controlled, where we're not listening to external impositions, where we're awakening to the fullness of who we are, to our truth, and living in alignment with that. So what else have I got for you today? You know, I was talking about the fact that consciousness travels. Everything exists in this here and now moment, and it's just our consciousness that moves from one dimension to the other, depending on what perspective we're looking at things from. And we can embrace it all. We can be part of it all at once. And so now, to really get this into our bodies, I invite you to do a little process with me. So I invite you to close your eyes, taking a beautiful deep breath, allowing all that I've just said to drop into your body, out of your mind, just allowing the mental body bless me, to calm down, to quieten down, bringing your awareness to your emotions, allowing the emotional body to calm down, to slow down. You can take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. Even a sigh. That ah sound is really assisting us to open the heart. It is the sound of the heart. It makes us feel safe. So now bring your awareness down to your feet. And we want to really work today on creating an embodied feeling. Imagine that you can breathe all the way down into your feet. And observe what happens when the life force of your breath meets the life force in your feet. When your full attention goes into the life force of your feet. Mine have started to tingle. There's heat, warmth, expansion. And if you don't feel heat or tingling, that's okay. Sometimes there is more density in the body. I've been bringing the attention to my feet and my body for a very long time. So the moment I do, I feel the life force energy in my feet. It's always there, but it's just by us bringing our attention to it that it can expand. So I want you now to imagine that you can feel the particles, the molecules in your feet, moving in and out of existence, vibrating at a very, very fast pace. The tingling that you feel is actually the vibrating in and out of existence. That's what I believe anyway. And the more we come into heightened states of consciousness, the more we activate our erotic energy and coming into these orgasmic states of ecstasy and bliss and oneness, this can be experienced even more. But for today, we're just going to focus on our feet and then gradually now activating, not activating, it's there always, but bringing our awareness to the life force energy in the shins, the ankles, breathing into that into that space. See if they want to begin to tingle as well as they're waking up, as you're bringing your focused attention to your shins. Moving up to your upper legs. Becoming aware of the life force energy in your upper legs. Now, the more oxygen we bring into our body, the more breath we have here, the more there can be expansion, the more life force energy we can hold in total in the wholeness of our body. And your legs might begin to tingle now. As you're bringing your awareness to your buttocks, breathing into your buttocks. And I'm noticing myself swaying, which is always a sign that everything wants to just stay soft and subtle and relaxed. As more and more life force energy is moving into my body, into your body, up into the sex organs now, into your sacral chakra, into your womb, be that energetic womb or physical. Breathing, connecting to the life force energy in your belly, your solar plexus. Also your back, your middle back, the back of your navel. Feeling the energy activating here fully, the life force. It's like we're flicking on light switches, like bing, 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 and it starts to tingle. It may or it may not. And whatever it does, just be in full acceptance of what is, knowing that you are on your own unique journey. You might have cold shivers, you might feel something completely different. All is valid, all is equally embraced and accepted and acknowledged and honored and loved. So then moving up into your heart, into the area between your shoulder blades, feeling an awakening here, an expansion. You can also imagine that the density of your babushka, that is your third dimensional body, is just expanding into the next shell, the next babushka. As you are expanding your consciousness, as you're expanding your life force energy, now moving it up into your shoulders and your arms, down to your hands and fingers, alivening, feeling the life force here, activating. Up into your neck. My neck wants to move in circular motion. Just trust and know that whatever your body wants to do is exactly what is right for you in this moment. We are also strengthening our ability to listen to the subtle messages of our body. Breathing, activating this life force energy now in your skull, your ears, up the crown, the third eye, your face, and the top of your throat. If there's any sounds that want to be released, allow them full expression as you are open and expanding here. Opening your throat, feeling the life force energy activating fully in your throat chakra. And then, and now that we have scanned your whole body in this way, just bring your awareness to every single part of your body. How much conscious awareness of every single part in your body can you hold at once? It goes beyond the mental capacity to do this. It requires us to tap into our body wisdom, the sensations, and a higher knowing. Feeling as much of your body tingling with life force energy in this moment as you can. I'm feeling my crown tingling, my feet are tingling, so my extremities are tingling, and so I'm now consciously bringing my conscious awareness into the legs, upper body, seeing if the tingling can also open up in the torso simultaneously to the other areas in your body. Deep breaths, expansion. Expanding your conscious awareness beyond the individuality of who you are. Expanding it into expanding your awareness of who you are to embrace this whole planet. Project your consciousness around the whole planet. Now, this might be a stretch for some, doesn't always come straight away, So just work with the intention here. Expanding into tribal consciousness, group, hive, beehive consciousness. Expanding now your awareness of yourself into the whole universe, that is governed by the central sun, by our sun, that gives us the consciousness. Using your breath to expand. Feeling your body and feeling yourself all the way out in the universe at the same time. And then we'll skip a step and coming straight into the void, straight into oneness consciousness, straight into being, connecting to the all that is. And I'm aware that for some of you this could just be a concept. For others this may be an embodied experience. Whatever it is, just play with it, have fun with that, explore it. Feeling yourself being the void, blackness, from which all life comes, all creations. Using your breath to connecting through all of this. Finding a center point inside of your sex center, inside of your womb, inside of your hara, that anchors you here in your body. And I'm noticing my other hand is moving to my heart. So this is also an anchor point right there. And just staying in that space for a few more moments. And then slowly bringing yourself back into your physical body, feeling your feet tingling on the ground, on the floor, your crown, all of your extremities, calling yourself back, all the way back into your body. And then you might like to hug yourself, kind of feeling, yes, my body is here. It's not vibrating in and out of existence throughout the whole universe anymore. I am right here, right now. And even though on some level this is happening anyway, for us, in order to kind of anchor us back into this reality, just touch your legs, your body, wherever you want to touch it, to kind of wake it back up, bring it back into the here and now, in this physical realm, in this third dimensional reality, whilst keeping an awareness of your multidimensional self. And then when you're ready, you can come back fully, open your eyes. You might like to rub your hands together, generating some heat, generating more energy. And then placing that somewhere on your body where you may need some more centering, some more grounding, as they say. I like the word centering a little bit more. Deep breath to bring yourself back. So if you're watching the replay, just make some comments. Tell me how this experience was for you. If there were any aha moments, if there were any surprises, how this felt for you. And so your challenge, the task, if you choose to do it, I invite you to keep an awareness of the tingling sensation in your feet throughout the next 24 hours. And now I set that task this morning, and it is incredibly hard to do that. So we need reminders, because we go into autopilot, we go into doing the things that we were doing in our lives, and we forget. So whenever the reason why we're doing that, the reason why I'm inviting you to do this challenge is because it brings your awareness to your physical body. And so this is especially beneficial to those of you who still have the wounded feminine activated, that tendency to kind of get out of the body, to be so empathetic, such an empath that you're feeling everything and you're losing your sense of self. So bringing your awareness to the life force energy in your feet is incredibly powerful to kind of say, I am here, I am. And I used to do that especially when I was in challenging situations, when I needed to center myself, when I needed to be fully present to bringing the awareness to the feet. It's like, here I am, I'm standing tall, I'm in my divine masculine energy, I've got my back, there's no need to kind of buy into the dramas of other people, the dramas of life, the challenges. And I can just take a deep breath. I can remind myself that whatever happens, happens for a reason. And there's nothing that ever happens to me that I couldn't handle. Everything that's ever happening to us is something that our soul sends us because we can handle it. Sometimes it makes us grow, and sometimes it's easy, but it's always on purpose. And so remembering that and bringing attention to, what are my triggers? Where am I still getting triggered? Where am I still getting sucked into either somebody else's drama or my own drama? What is going on? When am I losing my center? And just having that awareness today, really just checking in with yourself. Where am I at in my state of being? Am I in fight, flight, or freeze? Am I in flow? Am I out of my body in dreamland? Am I in this, that wounded masculine mode of doing? Or am I centered in myself, embodied in my being, connected to my divine self? So you can set yourself an alarm every hour. Just let the alarm go off, and that's your way to check in. You can also check in, every time I drink a lot of tea, so especially when it's cold at the moment. So you can, every time, for example, this could be your sign when you're boiling the kettle or doing something that you're doing frequently, washing your hands, whatever it may be, to remember to bring your attention to your feet, to bring your attention to your state of being. Okay, so that's your challenge, should you choose to accept it. I'd love to hear how you go with this, what your experiences are, what you may become aware of where your attention goes, where your energy, where you find your energy. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making a commitment to yourself to really embody your galactic essence, being in your body and showing up as the leader of your life that you are. You matter, your work is important, and I love you. Bye for now.